acceptable?
I am your mother. I can't believe you're making this about you.
Las Vegas, Nevada, a mecca for both high ropers and nickel slot players. However, in a local mall near the Strip, Kevin Wu and his girlfriend Christine Weston were playing their own game by their own rules. Wu and Weston had allegedly devised a daring shoplifting scheme that netted enough cash to feed their drug habits.
You gotta be pretty gutsy to walk into a mall and lift merchandise, especially nowadays with all these sensors that are posted in these places.
Their luck eventually ran out. Weston were arrested and booked for
Good.
They were soon back on the streets. Police claimed to their old tricks. Only this time the stakes had gone much higher. Christine was 8.5 months pregnant with Kevin's baby, and they were about to become suspects in a heinous crime. According to police, the couple settled into their room following a day ripping off department stores. They reportedly spent the rest of the evening drinking and using drugs. Sometime after midnight, Weston felt a series of sharp abdominal pains. Moments later, she went into premature labor, locked herself in the bathroom, then gave birth to a baby boy.
I don't know. Baby's coming.
Boom rifled through the yellow pages for the nearest hospital and pleaded his case with an ER nurse.
Emergency room, Lowe's.
Hello, ma'am. I have an emergency. My girlfriend, she received a phone call about 1 o'clock in the morning from a male subject who identified himself as Kevin and said that his girlfriend just had a baby and the baby was in the toilet.
We do not dispatch ambulances from this location. You need to hang up and you need to dial 911 right now.
Wu finally made the call to 911 an hour later, about 2 a.m. He said it was a medical emergency and not to involve the cops. Suspicious, the dispatcher contacted Las Vegas Metro Police anyway. When paramedics and uniformed officers arrived, they found Christine alone in the bathroom. Her baby was still in the toilet.
Oh.
While Weston was wheeled to a waiting ambulance, the homicide unit responded. The baby had apparently died. Several scenarios of guilt or innocence were possible. Detectives hoped an autopsy scheduled for later the same day would provide the answer. One question in particular was crucial. Had the baby been born alive? Detectives Hardy and Tremble were anxious to see the results of the autopsy. But in the meantime, there was work to do. When they arrived at the hospital to talk with the young couple, uniformed officers very nervous.
How long have you been living there? Just a couple of years. We didn't stay too long. Excuse me, do you mind if I use the restroom? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Thanks.
A few minutes later, detectives were told that Wu had fled.
We need an officer stationed at the Lady Luck Hotel.
They immediately ordered a patrol officer to stand guard at the hotel in case he returned to his room. Then around 3 a.m., Hardy and Tremble spoke with Christine Weston.
She was about as calm as anybody could be for what had just happened. Wasn't upset, wasn't crying. The only question she had about was her belongings in the room.
Hi, Poppy. You trying to get out?
That's not what happened, baby.
Get back in there.
Well, it's a little late to go back tonight. But they're a message.
I gave him my business card and said, call us in the morning and we'll make arrangements to meet you over there and get your stuff.
It was partly a ploy to put Weston at ease until detectives could review the results of the autopsy and determine if a crime had been committed. Late that night, the report came in. The baby had indeed been born alive.
Because they didn't seek medical attention, the district attorney's office felt that there was enough to charge both of them with the murder, basically, of the child.
There was no alleged homicide.
Oh, well, the kid's dead and you're going to charge him.
Weston and Kevin were the two Claudia traveled to the hospital in Western Weston. While they were checking in at the nurse's station, she was checking out the back door. Seconds later, Weston was gone.
She really had no fixed address in Las Vegas. We really didn't know where to look for them. They were all, as far as we're concerned, just guess of that hotel.
Then 2 days after Wu and Weston disappeared, police say Wu stole a pickup truck in nearby Henderson, Nevada.
I need your car. Give me the keys. I don't have the title. Keys.
It was found abandoned a few days later south of Los Angeles. That brought the FBI into the case.
The FBI got involved in during what we call the unlawful flight to avoid prosecution process. What that is when an individual is indicted or arrested in a state case and then flees the jurisdiction, we initiate that process to assist in the apprehension.
Weston and Wu were both charged with second-degree murder, child abuse with substantial bodily harm, and possession of a controlled substance. Wu was also wanted for carjacking. But despite the nationwide manhunt, police say the couple has not been deterred from their life of crime.
Christine has been cited twice in the Southern California area. She was arrested by the Costa Mesa Police Department for shoplifting.
Weston, however, is very clever. To derail Costa Mesa police from making an immediate ID, she reportedly used one of her aliases, Carrie Lynn Meeker. Since shoplifting is a misdemeanor, Weston, posing as Meeker, was not held in jail.
Once they're arrested, their fingerprints are sent back to the FBI facility. That can take up to a day to get back, the result of which is, if it's not a significant event, they're released before the return of the fingerprints, which helps them avoid apprehension.
And what about Weston's alleged partner in crime?
There haven't been any sightings of Kevin Wu since his departure, but we still assume that the two of them are together until we learn otherwise.
Christine Weston and Kevin Wu are still on the land, and Detective Don Tremel is still on their trail. He won't rest until he tracks them down.
If you saw what we saw in the room that night, she would make you mad too. But the whole thing that really gets to me is that they chose to do nothing and showed no concern, no remorse, and then left town like nothing happened.
A few days after Christine Weston and Kevin Wu allegedly took the life of their child, the Las Vegas chapter of the Knights of Columbus gave baby John Doe a name, Kyle, and a proper burial. But there will be no closure on this case until his parents are arrested and tried for murder. On a previous broadcast, we brought you the story of a beautiful young woman named Wendy Long. Wendy was living with her parents during a semester off from college. On a Sunday afternoon in Coushatta, Louisiana, Carol and Luke Long received a telephone call from a friend of their 21-year-old daughter. They were given news that is every parent's nightmare.
I thought she was with you. No, I haven't seen her since Friday night.
Wendy was missing.
We got her so bad.
2 days before she disappeared, Wendy had left to go to Shreveport for the weekend. On the way, she picked up 2 friends. They spent the afternoon shopping. Later that day, they picked up an acquaintance, a man we called Tommy in our original broadcast. The foursome went to a party at another friend's house.
And I'm told that we had quite a bit to drink that night. So that when it came time for them to take Tommy back home, she didn't want to drive. In fact, she didn't want to go with them at all.
Don't worry about it. I said I can drive. Don't worry about it.
Tommy claimed that he was concerned that Wendy would be stranded, so he returned to the party in his own car and offered her a ride home. On the way back, Tommy said he stopped for gas on a quart of oil.
When he came back out, Wendy was talking to 2 young men in a black Chevy truck.
This is Mike and Zance.
Tommy said that it appeared that she knew them, and Wendy told Tommy at that point not to worry about it, that
3 days later in Houston, Texas, investigators are called to the scene of two brutal murders. Both women are found in their cars. They look surprisingly alike, and most shocking of all, they share the same name, Mary Morris. Is there a connection, or are these crimes an astonishing coincidence? The Oklahoma dairy farmer leaves his home with a mysterious stranger and never returns. Several sightings have given his family hope that he is still alive. After 35-year-old Rita Sullivan was found murdered, her husband Jim had this to say.
I had nothing to do with Rita's death.
However, Rita's mother said this.
I really would like to see Jim go to the electric chair.
Did Jim Sullivan hire a hitman? With a wave of his hands, this Russian editor claims he can hear. Dozens flock to his Boston office every week to be treated. Can he relieve pain, cure phobias, and help smokers quit? Does he truly have a magic touch, or is he too good to be true? These 4 cases are among the most unusual and intriguing that we have yet encountered. Join me for this fascinating edition of Unsolved Mysteries. Houston, Texas. Very early one clear October morning, Jay Morris saw his wife Mary off to work. Mary Morris was a 48-year-old bank loan officer with many friends and a successful career. However, by early that afternoon, Jay began to worry about his wife. He had tried to phone her several times, but she hadn't returned any of his calls.
So I called a supervisor and found out she wasn't at work. And then that's when I knew immediately that there was something wrong because she didn't miss work.
Meanwhile, about 3 miles east of the Morris home, a passerby made a gruesome discovery. Inside a smoldering car, he found a body burned beyond recognition. The police were notified, and the crime scene investigation unit was soon combing the area for evidence. By that time, Jay had begun to think the worst. So when he heard from a friend about a burned-out car found near the interstate, he picked up his stepdaughter Marilyn Blaylock and drove to the scene.
Marilyn and I went down, and the police was there. They had everything blocked off, and they told us to turn around and come back home.
I was frustrated that they wouldn't tell me, but at that point I started to think it was her.
However, within a few hours, detectives delivered the terrible news. They had identified the victim in the car as Mary Morris. Because of the condition of the body, it was impossible to determine how Mary had been killed. The crime was so brutal, police did not suspect robbery was the motive. But soon, every other avenue of investigation also turned into a dead end.
There was no reason for it whatsoever. She was just a good person. Never did anything bad to anybody. They asked everything from gambling to drugs to affairs to anything, and all the answers were no. She didn't gamble, she didn't drink, nothing.
Just 3 days after Mary Morris's death, however, the case took a strange twist. And the circumstances were as chilling as they were unbelievable. Not far from where Mary's body was found, another woman had been viciously murdered. She too was killed in her car. And incredibly, her name was also Mary Morris. 2 women, both named Mary Morris, both found murdered in their cars in the Houston area just 3 days apart. On top of all that, the 2 Marys also bore a certain resemblance. However, However, to find a possible link, detectives would first have to piece together the events surrounding the death of the second victim. Mary McGinnis Morris was 39 years old when the first Mary was killed. And like Mary Lou Morris, she too was a successful professional with a sunny disposition.
Mary was like an angel. She was very joyful, always happy, making people laugh. Not enough words really to describe her. I mean, she was just really loved by everybody. Okay.
Mary was a nurse practitioner in charge of several clinics for a major industrial corporation. She was dedicated and excelled at her job.
Anything basically a doctor would do, Mary did. She would work 14 hours a day, not think twice, go back in the evening, weekends, whenever she was needed.
Mary got along well with her staff, but according to friends, one new employee, a male nurse, was a poor fit right from the start. And the relationship quickly went from bad to worse. Mary became increasingly nervous and distraught.
She told me that she was afraid of this person that she worked with, and I said, do you think you could hurt me? And she said, yes, I do, and I think you could do worse.
Soon after, Mary told friends to stop by her office one day to pick up some papers, only to make a disturbing discovery.
She found things out of place on her desk, pictures turned to face the wrong direction. On his desk was written the words death to her, which she assumed was written about her.
She made a phone call on her way home, and I could tell that she was shaking. Okay, baby, what's going on?
I think this whole thing is really out of control.
She got home and she asked me if I would provide her with a gun to carry with her for her own protection. She asked me to go over the handling of the gun. When we were finished, she asked me to place the gun in her car under the driver's seat.
That girl is terrific.
I think we should do that. Same thing I did when I was in school. I didn't know the answer. Thank you.
Who are you to decide what's natural?
I'm a doctor.
No. Anyone at all got a genuine medical problem?
Wow, you're good.
Just give me something for the throat and I'll be on my way.
Why don't we let the doctor do his work, Mr. Fair?
I'm a doctor.
What we do.
Three, two, one.
Here we go.
Now you're talking.
You're the best guy in the whole world.
Yes, I know. Now what would you do?
What's going on?
Stan, take it easy. I need you to lay back.
I have to put my radar on high alert. Is there something that might have been missed by the first doctor?
A few weekends later, Mary met her friend Laurie Gemmel at the clinic to give her an allergy shot.
Mary seemed fine that Sunday, and we chatted a little bit about her making dinner for the family, and she had a couple of errands to do, and she was only going to stay a couple of hours, and then she was going to go home.
Later that afternoon, Laurie says she received an alarming phone call from Mary.
Hi, it's me. When she was in the drugstore, she saw somebody that gave her the creeps. She said, I'm just going to run across the bridge and turn off my computer and sign out of the building and go home.
Police aren't sure what happened next, but 12 minutes after saying goodbye to Lori, Mary made a frantic call to 911.
We're not releasing the content of the tape. It covers the attack that happened to Mary, and anybody that's ever heard that tape has just had their blood chilled listening to it. It's a very chilling, disturbing call.
The details of Mary's abduction are unclear. However, the medical examiner's report revealed that she was viciously beaten and shot in the head. The investigation first led police to Mary's co-worker at the clinic. Allegedly, he had left on bad terms, quitting his job after several failed attempts to discredit Mary. Detectives say they have evidence that may link the co-worker to the crime, and he remains a suspect. Investigators also had questions for Mike Morris, Mary's husband. Morris claimed he was at the movies with his daughter at the time of the murder. Detectives had concerns about his alibi and uncovered several other troubling issues. First, according to police, Morris intentionally stonewalled the investigation through his own actions and by refusing to allow his daughter to be questioned.
He wouldn't meet with us without an attorney. Witnesses don't need attorneys. Suspects generally have attorneys.
Mike Morris says he was simply following the advice of some trusted friends.
Several of these people suggested that I've taken a turn with me, not because I had anything to hide, but just to have somebody with me that was familiar with the procedures.
Detectives were also suspicious about Morris's refusal to take a polygraph test.
I was on anti-anxiety medications. I was on antidepressants. I wasn't really sure that this polygraph examination that they were talking about could adequately compensate for all of those conditions.
Further, according to friends, Mike and Mary Morris were having serious problems with their marriage. When Mike heard rumors of an alleged affair between Mary and a family friend, he confronted them head on.
I can tell you that at the time that happened, they both looked me in the eye and they both told me that there had been nothing inappropriate in their relationship. And I didn't see any betrayal in their eyes.
Then there was a question of motive, what detectives say compelled them to follow the money. A life insurance policy that would pay out $700,000.
There was a large amount of life insurance on Mary Morris, which Mike Morris was the beneficiary to. There were a lot of reasons right there for, in the way of a motive for Mike.
Finally, what police consider most curious of all the evidence against Mike Morris was a call he made to Mary's cell phone around the time detectives believed she was murdered.
There was a phone call some 2 hours after Mary Morris made a very desperate, chilling call to 911. That call was made by Mike Morris. The problem is, this phone call lasted for 4 minutes. This was, by all indications of the cellular telephone company, a completed call. What you have to wonder is, what did that phone call either set in motion or end?
Normally, the cellular service would have kicked in and said that the party you were calling was unavailable. I didn't get that. I don't know why I didn't get that. But as long as the phone was ringing and I thought that there was the possibility that she would answer it, I let it ring.
But if the call went unanswered, detectives questioned why it showed up on Mary's cell phone bill.
I don't accept that Mike made this phone call and that the phone rang for 4 minutes. It's not possible. The question is, who answered the phone on the other end? That's what the big question is. And what did they talk about for the 4 minutes?
Was Mike Morris talking to his wife's killer? adamantly denies any involvement in her death.
I had absolutely nothing to do with the arrangement of Mary's murder. It's a hurtful insinuation. But, I know that it's absolutely untrue.
Despite Mike Morris's denial, police say they have not eliminated him as a suspect in his wife's murder. Mary's co-worker is also still under suspicion. Perhaps the answer lies in the possible link between the deaths of Mary McGinnis Morris and Mary Lou Morris. One theory speculated that an adept contract killer had been hired to murder the second Mary Morris and kill the first Mary Morris by mistake. That theory was fueled in part by a telephone call allegedly made to a Houston newspaper.
A call came into the Houston Chronicle, and I verified this with somebody at the Chronicle. Between the time Mary Morris was killed and the time my friend was killed, saying something to the effect that they got the wrong Mary Morris the first time.